Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to Central Illinois Sports. We have reached the postseason for high school boys basketball. We are kicking it off today with some regional quarterfinal action from the Nick at Griggsville Perry, as the Griggsville Perry Tornadoes play host to the Western Wildcats in an opening round game for the Payson Regional. Winner of this game will advance to Wednesday's semifinals at Payson Seymour, where they will likely take on the Triopia Trojans, but the Trojans still have to get through their quarterfinal contest here later on today. You're watching the Great Rivers Bank pregame show with locations in Pittsfield, Perry, Liberty, and Hannibal. Great Rivers Bank is here to help you with your lending and personal banking needs. Friendly service and dedicated loan officers can help you through buying a home, opening a business, or making a deposit. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. It's the Tornadoes and Wildcats. We'll tell you about both of these teams coming up here in just a second after we take a 2-minute break to recognize some of the wonderful sponsors bringing you today's game here live on Central Illinois Sports.
Wish you had extra cash for a vacation, a boat, a new car, projects around the house? Free up more cash for the things you want by taking advantage of low interest rates. Refinance your home with Great Rivers Bank and keep more of your money by lowering your monthly payment. Start the process online at greatriversbank.bank and work with one of our experienced loan officers to get the lowest rate possible. Great Rivers Bank, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
Did you know that Prairie Land FS doesn't just sell seed? They treat it and box it right here at one of their local facilities, then deliver it to your farm or fields. Growers trust Prairie Land FS to deliver top-performing crop protection products that promise the best performance before, during, and after the growing season. Prairie Land FS, your leading supplier of choice.
Since 1921, Farmers State Bank of Camp Point has been a vital part of our community's history. We are proud of our growth, our community leadership, and our success, which is only possible because of all those who shared this journey with us. We are grateful to the generations of loyal customers, families, businesses, employees, officers, and directors who have shaped not only our story, but our entire communities. Thank you. We look forward to serving you and your future generations for the next 100 years. Farmers State Bank and Camp Point. Together, we are a strong, united community.
Seed selection is one of the important decisions required to achieve yield goals. Logan Agri-Service represents top seed lines in the industry like Lewis Hybrids, Stein Seed, and AgriGold, and focuses on products developed to meet or exceed our customers' expectations. Sit down with one of our experienced local seed experts who will work with you to help select top-producing corn hybrids and soybean varieties tailored for your specific soils and fertility levels. Or visit us online at loganag.com. Logan Agri-Service, serving agriculture since 1962.
Welcome you back to the Great Rivers Bank pregame show here on Central Illinois Sports. If you're in the market for a new home loan, talk to the guys at Great Rivers Bank. Locations in Barry, Pittsfield, Liberty, and Hannibal, serving the entire region and beyond in Hay. Check out that online loan application tool at greatriversbank.bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. Well, the Griggsville Perry Tornadoes are the home team on the scoreboard today. They've got a record of 23-8. This has been one of the more successful seasons for the Griggsville Perry basketball team since the last time they won a regional, which was back in 2015 with the likes of Joe Myers, Caleb Bradshaw, Jordan Dehart and company, and that was a fun team to watch if you were a regular here at the Nick. Damon Emmerich alongside with me here tonight. Damon, there are some names that are very familiar on this Tornadoes basketball roster. You've got Lipkemans, you've got Myers, you've got Kirks. It is a team of a lot of legacy names here at Griggsville Perry, and a lot of these kids play like it.
Yeah, these kids are, we talk about this as a very experienced veteran group, but the other thing to remember here, Brian, is there's no freshmen and no seniors on this squad, so experienced, but also still young. But these guys have a lot of playing time under their belt at the varsity level. They hit a rough stretch here over the last couple of weeks. They had some tough losses. One we covered here a few Saturdays ago where they matched up against the Camp Point Central squad that came out firing from the get-go, and then turned around later on that week and lost to a Saki squad there at Voschel Gymnasium by 1 point. But they've been playing well here as of late. Looked like they've had more life to them there for a little bit. Didn't look like they had their legs under them, but new season starts today, and you've got to be on your A game every time you hit the floor in postseason play.
Tornadoes are winners of the North Green Spartan Classic way back in December. This team also won the Triopia tournament that was in mid-January, shortly after the end of the Winchester Invitational tournament. They finished 4th at Winchester, their best finish for the Tornado squad at the WIT since 2015. This is a team that recently defeated Triopia in overtime back on Tuesday at Triopia. Came back, defeated Calhoun here Thursday night in a rather easy win. This is a team that also defeated Payson Seymour on homecoming night just about a week ago here last Friday. You've got the likes of Wyatt Lipkeman and Lane Lipkeman, the twin boys, able to handle the backcourt pretty well. You've seen Wyatt Lipkeman kind of become the established leader for this basketball team. You've got the sharpshooting Michael Myers on the outside, who has really started to adjust how he handles himself with the basketball, Damon, and the number of shots he's taking. If you've kind of watched here over the past week and a half, you've watched Michael become a little more selective with his three-point shots. You've watched him become a little more, probably, I wouldn't say cautious is the word, but probably just a little bit more responsible. You've seen him take a lot of shots early in the season, but he's really starting to fine-tune where those shots come from. On the inside, you've got guys like Flint Kirk, Eli White, Wade Lipkeman, and more that'll see some quality minutes. But, Damon, this is a team that prides itself on defense, and this is a team that likes to turn its defense into offense, especially on that three-quarter court press.
Well, I think what you've seen here lately is after that Pittsfield game, shots have been taken more within the flow of the offense. Instead of taking that first open look, they've kept the ball moving. But the big key here for this Tornado squad is, depending on what group is out on the floor, and if they go with the same starting five as what we saw here on Thursday night with the two Lipkeman twins, you had Garrett Woodward, Dane McAllister, and Michael Myers. You have 5 guys on the floor that can hit a shot from anywhere on the court, but they also have the ability to put the ball on the floor and attack the basket. And that's what, to me, has been most impressive the last few times I've watched Michael Myers is he's passed up that 3 opportunity, but teams have to come out and guard him because they know he can knock that down. But there's not many teams that are going to guard a Michael Myers or a Dane McAllister where they have 5 guys out on the court that are as quick as what the Tornadoes typically have out there. So the Tornadoes have the ability to attack the basket and get teams in foul trouble. But going back to what you said, their goal is to get the fast break going by shutting you down on defense, whether it be getting the defensive rebound and getting into transition or trying to get that steal, as they will go 2-3 full court the entire game.
It's a Tornado squad that's had a lot of success this season. We've also seen them have a few hiccups, as you talked about, Damon. They lost to West Hancock. They lost to Camp Point Central. They lost to Pittsfield, all in a very short time frame. They squeaked one out over South County, but we've also seen this team have a couple of big wins over the likes of West Central twice. They also defeated a very good Williamsville squad here at home earlier in the season. This is a team that you hope, if you are a Tornadoes fan, is playing its best basketball. We're going to step away for a couple of minutes. When we come back, we'll tell you about the Western Wildcats and get you ready for this quarterfinal matchup. It's the Tornadoes and the Wildcats live here from the NIC. You're watching it all live on the Great Rivers Bank pregame show on Central Illinois Sports.
Rough day at work? We all have them from time to time. But the last thing you want to worry about is coming home to your internet being out. Or even worse, waiting all day to watch the big game, only to find out it's blacked out. With Cascom, those worries are a thing of the past. Our local technicians are here to service any issues and ensure you have a worry-free experience, whether it be internet, TV, or even home phone. Call Cascom today at 1-800-252-1799 to schedule or upgrade your internet and TV service.
From our trucks to their lunch trays, to your local hospital, to your favorite pub, and to your kitchen table. For more than 60 years, Dot Foods and Dot Transportation have been stocking the shelves of your hometown. Sure, we've grown a lot, but at our core, we're still small-town, family-run businesses that care about our communities and the people who keep us running. Join the Dot family today and be part of something bigger.
High County Lumber is the place to start all your building projects. They offer a huge selection of framing and specialized lumber, beautiful interior and exterior doors, and multiple roofing options that can be delivered to your rooftop. Start your indoor projects at Pike County Lumber too. New or renovated bathrooms are one of their specialties. Updating your flooring? Time for a new kitchen? Any project from start to finish. You can trust the knowledge and experience at Pike County Lumber.
Welcome you back here to the Great Rivers Bank pregame show as we get you ready for the Griggsville Perry Tornadoes and the Western Wildcats in a 1A regional quarterfinal. Winner will go to Payson coming up on Wednesday at 7:30. The Western Wildcats, Damon, have not had the success that the Tornadoes have had this season. A team that is 4-24 on the year. 2 of those wins come by the way of Pleasant Hill. But this is a team, Damon, that we've saw a lot of life in, especially in the young sophomore Mason Smith. We've seen this kid score 40 points in a game where they nearly beat Bushnell Prairie City up at the Unity Tournament over Christmas week. They had a nice competitive contest against Pittsfield here not too long ago, but there's just a lot of inexperience on this team that Curtis Stout is trying to work through. But I'll tell you what, we've seen this Wildcats team maybe about 10 times on the season through various avenues. This is a team that isn't allowed to quit. These guys continue to play hard from start to finish. And, of course, it's the postseason. You know they're going to come out and give Griggsville Perry their best shot this afternoon.
Well, and sometimes this is the team you least want to match up with come postseason time because they've literally got nothing to lose. And they're going to come out and play that way. Griggsville Perry's got to come out and be prepared for what the Wildcat squad is going to throw at them because, as you mentioned, a Curtis Stout coach team, they're going to play hard for 32-plus minutes.
Expect to see some guys like Kason Tobias and Blaine Miller get the basketball quite a bit here. They've got a nice ball handler by the way of Zach Rucker. You're going to see guys like Max Keller, Andrew Wilson, Dylan Ross, and more get in on the contest. But the guy to watch in the red today is number 22, the young sophomore Mason Smith. We're going to step away for the national anthem and get you ready with starting lineups coming up here in just a second. It's the Tornadoes and the Wildcats. It's regional quarterfinal action here on Central Illinois Sports.
Yeah, I'm at Farm and Home for essentials.
Did you find everything you need?
No, apparently not. Thank you.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about.
No other place has it all like Farm and Home Supply.
Time to get you ready for starting lineups brought to you today by Farm and Home Supply. From snacks and hoodies to power tools and lawn chairs, no other place has it all like your local Farm and Home Supply store locations in Pittsfield, Jacksonville, Quincy, and around the area. Starting lineup today for the 4-24 Western Wildcats look like this. At guard, a 5'9" senior, number 2, Zach Rucker. At forward, a 6'2" senior, number 11, Andrew Wilson. At guard, the 6'2" sophomore, the talented number 22 is Mason Smith. At the other guard, a 5'10" sophomore, number 24 is Kason Tobias. And on the inside, number 25 is a 5'10 senior, Blaine Miller. So it's Miller, Tobias, Smith, Rucker, and Wilson for the 4-24 Western Wildcats. Head coach is Curtis Stout. Starting lineup here for the Tornadoes, 23-8 on the season. Garrett White at the helm is a 5'8 junior. Number 3 is Wyatt Lipkman. At the other guard, a 5'8 junior. Number 12, his brother, Lane Lipkman. The third guard today is a 5'9 sophomore. Number 23 is Garrett Woodward. On the inside, a 6'4 junior. Number 25, Michael Myers. And in the forward position, a 6'4 junior. Number 15, Dane McAllister. Griggsville Perry Tornadoes. Western Wildcats getting ready to tip it off here at the Nick. Charlie and company will be up at Carthage here starting at 2 o'clock as they'll get you ready for the Pittsfield Sockies taking on the Illini West Chargers. In a 2A regional quarterfinal winner, we'll get to go play Quincy Notre Dame at the Pit, Damon. That's a fun setup if you're any 2A basketball team. Nice crowd here on hand, nice contingent of Western fans. They always follow their team well, and GP has filled up the Nick rather nicely. We are underway. Tip-off goes down to the way of the Tornadoes, goes into the hands of Wyatt Lipkman. Zone look here from the Wildcats to start out. Lipkman takes 2 dribbles, picks it up, gives it now to Woodward on the corner. Woodward has seen some starting minutes here over the past 3 weeks. Myers with it on the left wing. Tornadoes overloaded on the left side. Myers thought about the 3, holds up now. McAllister down in the short corner. They whip it back up to the top, out to the Tornado at the center circle to Wyatt Lipkman. Kicks it back over to brother Lane. Now down in the corner, Myers as they try to get it into McAllister. He's guarded in the inside by Wilson. It'll be tipped out from Tobias and out of bounds. It'll be remain Tornadoes basketball here. Just in the first 30 seconds of postseason action here as it kicks off all 4 classes across the state. Regional quarterfinals underway in the state of Illinois for boys basketball.
Western's out in a 1-2-2 defense, but almost looks like a 3-2 as Woodward's pass is deflected out of bounds. You see Mason Smith out top, but he's packed in more. So right now, Western's coming out and saying if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to knock down some shots from the outside.
Tornado squad that likes to touch it inside is now they get it into Myers. He's going to get bumped and fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line for the first time this afternoon.
Foul's going to be whistled against Tobias. That's going to be Tobias first. So it will send, actually they're going to call Blaine Miller for that. So it'll be his first, team foul number 1. Michael Myers at the line where his first free throw attempt is off the back of the iron and no good.
Tornadoes, Wildcats all tied up here in the first 30 seconds of the basketball game as we get a couple of things tweaked away on our scoreboard.
Myers makes
Myers
one of
makes
2, and GP has the early 1-0 lead.
Tornadoes now looking with full court pressure that the Wildcats will have to navigate through. They get it quickly down to Rucker on the left side, tries to throw it into Miller. It gets tipped away and stolen. Here come the Tornadoes. Lane Lipkman with the basketball, and they say that'll be a jump ball as Wilson was able to get his hands on it. Alternating possession will favor the Western Wildcats.
So turnover apiece for each squad early on. 7:02 left to play first quarter action.
Wilson with the basketball. He'll be the inbounds man. Gets it to Mason Smith. We've seen Mason Smith score a lot of points, and he'll score a lot more here over the next 2 seasons for Curtis Stout's squad. Tobias with the basketball. Nice fake out. Puts it up from about 8 feet and good. Tobias gets the first early 2 for Western. They take a 2-1 lead over the Griggsville Perry Tornadoes. 6:44 left to go here on the Trucks LLC scoreboard. Myers with the basketball, dribbles through double traffic, kicks it back out to Woodward. They work it around the perimeter now. Wyatt Lipkman down to Myers in the corner. 3 ball on the way, off the back of the iron, no good. Comes down into the hands of Andrew Wilson, stolen away by Lane Lipkman. He throws it away to Tobias. Pushing quickly now down as they get it to Rucker on the baseline. They'll kick it back out to Wilson, and the Wildcats will reset here with 6:18 left in the opening frame. Ball gets tipped away. It'll get picked back up by Rucker. Wyatt Lipkman pesky on the defensive side. He'll pick it out of bounds. It'll remain Wildcats basketball here, and you're starting to see some aggression here from GP, Damon, and they're the heavy favorites in this basketball game. I don't think that's an arguable fact, but Garrett White not messing around here, wanting to establish some presence early.
Well, we've seen the Wildcat squad early on, but they're not intimidated right now as Mason Smith kicks it back out top to Tobias. Tobias will track it down and reset the offense for this Wildcat squad. Western with the early 2-1 lead as they get it down into the corner and kick it back out top to Smith, and he'll reset the offense. Gets it left wing to Miller. Miller picks up his dribble, gets it to Tobias, puts it on the floor. Shot attempt from Tobias is up and off the back of the iron, no good. Myers loses the rebound, and then it's a turnover against the Wildcats. Gets it out front to Wyatt Lipkeman, and Lipkeman's got his first 2 points of the ball game, and that gives us our second lead change of the contest.
5:27 left to go here in the first as now Tobias tries to get it in. He'll get it to Blaine Miller, and they'll kick it back to Wilson. Zone look here from GP, the traditional 2-3 that we've seen pretty much most of the season from the guys in the maroon and gold. They try to work it down into Wilson, tipped away from McAllister, turnover for Western, and now a turnover for GP as Mason Smith able to make the steal and the turn of the turnover. We're just trading turnovers here at the Nick. Woodward with the basketball. Now over to Wyatt Lipkeman. Baseline jumper from 12 feet, doesn't find anything, goes into the hands of Tobias. And we've got an injury timeout on the floor as we've got a Wildcat down. Looks like that's going to be Wilson. Looks like he's favoring that ankle. Might have just kind of landed gingerly on it, Damon, and Hill's going to take a seat for a minute.
He'll take a seat, and then on the other side for GP, we're going to see Eli White check in as Woodward takes a seat. So 5 turnovers against the Wildcats, 3 against the Tornadoes, and we're just barely 3 minutes into this ball game.
3-2 basketball game here as the Wildcats try to get through the zone press. Tobias with the basketball guarded by Lane Lipkeman. Nobody flashing in the middle for Western as they try to force it down to Rucker. He picks it up, tipped away from Lane Lipkeman, turnover for the Wildcats. Steal, Larson in the layup for Lane Lipkeman. Turns it into 2 more points, and it's a 5-2 lead here for Western, or excuse me, Griggsville Perry. 4:30 left to go in the opening period. Blaine Miller with the basketball working on the right sideline. He's got to get away from Michael Myers, who gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar. It'll be a foul against GP and a foul against Myers, his first of the basketball game.
Myers first.
Sorry, Damon.
Nope, Myers first team foul. 4:24 to play here. First quarter action, 5-2 GP with the lead on the Trucks LLC scoreboard.
Tobias with the basketball guarded by Wyatt Lipkeman. Got double teamed with Eli White for a second. Wildcats had to reset. Tobias now gets it into Miller, who flashes on the left elbow. Kicks it back out. Basketball now in the hands of Ross. They work it around the perimeter. Tobias with it, almost thought about the jumper from the elbow. Instead, they take a 3-ball from Rucker, who doesn't find much of anything. Not the best shot for the Wildcats, but it's going to go off the hands of McAllister, and it'll remain Western basketball with 4 minutes to go. Damon, seeing the Wildcats being able to take advantage of this zone press and get the ball down the floor, but they really need to try and get that basketball in the middle and see if they can break down GP's zone, and they might get a little better shot.
Yep, and so far we haven't seen a real clean play for either squad so far, as Smith has the ball knocked out of bounds. Eli White tipped that, so it'll be Wildcat basketball. 3:57 to play here, first quarter action. Low scoring early on, 5-2 GP with the lead, as Western has the basketball, and 3-point attempt from them is off the back of the iron, no good. Myers with the board for GP.
Lane Lipkeman takes the basketball, kicks it back out to White. He'll work it around the perimeter. They get McAllister in the short corner, off the glass, no good, but a nice shot from McAllister as they work the ball into the short corner. Rebound came into Tobias, and he'll get fouled by Lane Lipkeman at half court.
That'll be Lane Lipkeman's first foul, team foul number 2. And if you're Garrett White, you'll take that shot from Dane McAllister all day long. Nice to see Dane trying to be assertive on the offensive end, as we've seen him maybe lacking in some confidence here these last few weeks for the Tornadoes.
Western with the basketball. They trail 5-2 here in the early goings of this one. Tobias with the basketball, takes a couple of dribbles at the volleyball line as they work it to Mason Smith. Tries to kick it down into Ross. It goes through his hands a little too high. And another turnover against the Wildcats.
Give them 7, less than 5 minutes into first quarter action.
Myers with the basketball, quickly works it down to McAllister on the left side. That 3-2-1-2-2 zone, however you want to look at it here for Western, is something GP's going to have to try and maybe shoot Western out of right now. Wyatt Lipkeman tries to dribble through double traffic, and they said it'll be a kick ball and remain GP basket on the foul.
They'll actually get Rucker on the foul, so that'll be his first, team foul number 2. As we see Max Keller in the ball game for the first time for the Western Wildcat squad. Rucker takes a seat. Myers trying to get the ball in bounds for the Tornadoes, finally does, out to Wyatt Lipkeman.
Lipkeman drives through into double traffic, goes up with the left hand. He'll draw the blocking foul and go to the free throw line. Will Lane Lipkeman.
Max Keller, the man who just checked into the ball game, be whistled for his first. That'll be the 3rd foul against the Wildcats. Lane Lipkeman to the line for the Tornadoes squad. Lane's got 2 points, looking to extend his team's 5-2 lead, and he does so as he hits the first.
Illini Community Hospital, serving the community since 1942 with excellent healthcare services, primary and specialty care, emergency medicine, and more. Learn more about their services at IlliniHospital.org.
Jackson White checked into the first time for Western as Lane Lipkman knocked them both down, and it's a 7-2 Griggsville Perry lead at the 2:58 mark of the first quarter.
Tornadoes with full court pressure here as now Western's got to work it down the length of the court. This is Ross with the basketball, gets it over to Keller. Still nobody really flashing in the middle as White gave it a try for Western. Now they work it down to White on the left side. This is Blaine tries to work it in, can't find anything. Now Keller's got to get his way out of trouble. Ross with the basketball. Works it around now to Mason Smith. Haven't seen much out of 22 yet here tonight. Ross with it back up at the volleyball line. Nice defensive stand from the Tornadoes here on this one. Smith with the basketball. Both Lipkemans up on the top of the 2-3 zone as now White gets his hands on it. It's a nice turnover and a steal for Eli White. Here comes Wyatt Lipkeman. He's going to take it down the length of the court. Goes up with the right hand, but gets fouled by Mason Smith on the swat attempt, and Wyatt Lipkeman will go to the line.
That'll be Smith's first. It'll be the fourth foul of the first quarter against this Wildcat squad. So it sends Wyatt Lipkeman to the line. Wyatt's got 2 points as his team's got the 7-2 lead, 2:18 to play first quarter action. Lipkeman leaves his first short off the front of the rim. Tobias is going to check back in for Western as we will see Blaine Miller take a seat for them. Wyatt Lipkeman at the line. Got one free throw attempt remaining. Missed his first. Second one is on its way, and it is good.
Griggsville Perry getting their way to the basket or to the free throw line and starting to knock these down, and that's a way that GP likes to rack up points in a hurry. It's 8-2 with 2:10 left to go here in the opening frame. Mason Smith tries to dribble through three defenders, almost loses the basketball, and Tobias picks it up. He dribbles into Dane McAllister, and they say McAllister will get a foul on the reach in.
That'll be his third team foul against the Tornadoes. Smith will be the trigger man for this Wildcat squad.
Tobias with it in the corner, guarded by Eli White. McAllister guarding Smith. This is Jackson White with the basketball as they work it back over to Dylan Ross. Wildcats desperate to find something that works here on the offensive side. Mason Smith with the basketball. Cross-court pass over to Tobias on the right side. He tries to dribble in the middle, goes up from the free throw line. Nice shot by Casey Tobias. He knocks it down. It's an 8-4 lead for the Tornadoes. Quickly now back as GP as McAllister has it in the short corner. Myers takes a couple of dribbles as they work it down to the right side, now into Eli White. White thought about going up with it, instead tries to pass it to McAllister, stolen by Tobias, turnover for the Tornadoes. Substitutions coming in for both sides here on the next dead ball with 1:20 left in the opening quarter.
We're going to have an offensive foul, a player control foul trying to set a pick for the Wildcats. That's going to go against Max Keller. That'll be Keller's second. 5th team foul against the Wildcats, but that's also their 9th turnover of the first quarter. Low scoring first quarter, 8-4 Griggsville Perry with the lead, approaching the 10-minute mark of the first quarter as Tornadoes have the basketball in the hands of Wyatt Lipkeman.
Now down to Myers on the left side. Still this is zone look from Western. Myers, three ball in the corner. Off the back of the iron, no good. Rebound comes down to Mason Smith. He'll push it in a hurry. Smith with the basketball, goes through two Lipkemans, has to pick it up as Myers caught it. They work it back over to the left side now. This is Tobias. Tobias goes up right inside the three-point line, no good. Rebound comes down into the hands of Blaine Miller, and he'll go up and get fouled.
Miller will go to the line looking for his first points of the ball game as he was fouled by Flint Kirk. That's Kirk's first, and it is the 4th team foul against the Tornadoes. They're actually going to say that that foul was on the floor. So Eli White into the ball game for Griggsville Perry as Dane McAllister gets the breather.
1-4 look here for the Wildcats to inbound the basketballs. They get it to Miller at the free throw line. This is Keller. He thought about the three-point shot, passes on it, and they work it around the perimeter. Dylan Ross with it now, back over to Miller. Guarded by Lane Lipkeman. 23 seconds left to go, 28 here in the opening period. Tobias with the basketball. The sophomore gets some instructions from Curtis Stout as they reset the offense. He's guarded by Lane Lipkeman, and he's got a count. Now it gets stolen away. Wyatt Lipkeman to Lane Lipkeman. Lipkeman to Lipkeman off the glass, no good, but Flint Kirk comes up with it. Flint Kirk gets the second chance basket on the turnover. It's a 10-4 lead for the Tornadoes. 5 seconds, 4, 3. They've got to get a shot off, and they may not get it done here as they throw it, and that's the end of the first quarter. Griggsville Perry 10, Western 4. We'll be back with second quarter play-by-play here in 60 seconds.
Hey guys, it's James and Todd coming at you from Jersey's here. Hey, and it is a beautiful day outside.
Catch all the action at Jersey's in Camp Point. Fresh, made-to-order sandwiches, wraps, horseshoes. Check out our brisket bacon burger, our Nashville hot chicken. Fried chicken every Thursday night. Enjoy an afternoon on the patio or catch a game on one of our 7 TVs. Queen of Hearts drawing every Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
Todd, you got some beers for us?
Hey, you know what? It's time for that segment.
We love beer!
Ice cold draft beer, unmatched craft selection, and signature drinks. Jersey's Bar and Grill in Camp Point, your hometown sports bar.
Tornadoes capitalize on a couple of early turnovers to get some points. They've got a 10-4 lead here as we wrap up the first quarter from Griggsville Perry High School. Damon's got some shooting stats. Damon, how have we looked here over the first quarter?
Well, through one quarter of play, the Wildcats just 2 of 6 from the field for 33%. Not many shot attempts from them as they've got 10 turnovers. Whereas the Tornado squad, they have 4 turnovers and they're 3 of 8 from the field for 38%. 4 of their points are also coming from the free throw line as they are 4 of 6 in the ballgame.
Tornadoes with the basketball here to start the second frame. They wick it around the perimeter. Wyatt Lipkeman takes a 3 from the left side. It's good for Wyatt Lipkeman. Knocks it down from 19-9. The Tornadoes take a 13-4 lead here early in the second period. Tobias with the basketball as he tries to get through the zone press. They quickly work it now down to Blaine Miller. He tries to dribble through 2 defenders, picks it up at the free throw line, tries to throw it to Smith. Smith was going one direction, the ball went the other, and it's a turnover on Western.
That's the 11th Wildcats turnover of the ball game. As Lane Lipkeman will bring the ball into the front court for the Tornadoes.
Wyatt Lipkeman now drives baseline. He's got to get rid of it. Finds Lane Lipkeman. He'll try a 3 on the right side off the back of the iron. No good. Comes into the hands of the sophomore, Kaysen Tobias. 7:15 left to go here in the second. He picks it up at half court. Gets it now over to Dylan Ross in the corner. Cross court pass over to Mason Smith as GP extends it zone out pretty far here on this stance. Smith pulls up from 3. In good for Mason Smith, and Curtis Stout will take a timeout on the 3-point basket. We'll take it 2. It's 13-7. Griggsville Perry with the lead over Western. We're back here in 30 seconds.
Here at Little Jess, we value hard work, dedication, integrity, and leadership. We have a respect for heritage and tradition and believe in the pursuit of building legacies, breaking records, and putting forth award-winning results. That's why supporting schools and local teams is one of our favorite and most exciting parts of our business. For over 7 decades, we strive daily to use those same values as a foundation to meet our community's automotive needs and support our future generations. Little Jess Motors, serving our community since 1969.
Farmers, are you looking for high-yield genetics to help the bottom line on your farm? Contact Lipkeman Seed Sales for high-yielding A-Series soybeans from Pioneer. We have the luxury right now to be offering the highest-yielding soybean lineup Pioneer has offered in 30 years. Couple that with the service that is second to none, and you have a winning combination for your farm. For corn, check out the results of the National Corn Growers Yield Contact and see who's at the top. Maybe today is a good day to revisit Pioneer corn hybrids as well. Contact Aaron, Evan, and Brett today for high-yielding A-Series soybeans from Pioneer. Go Eagles!
Back to live action after the timeout from the Western Wildcats. Damon, you just mentioned it. That was the first shot of the basketball game for Mason Smith as Michael Myers knocks one down and makes it a 16-7 basketball game. But the Wildcats have got to get their talented sophomore involved offensively.
Yeah, the Tornadoes did a nice job really closing out hard on Smith. In that first quarter, you got the first shot attempt of the ballgame for the Wildcats as we're going to have to call that a 3, and then an offensive rebound to Dylan Ross.
Tobias drives inside. He'll draw the foul as Miller was trying to make a cross-court pass and it went off the rim.
I think they're going to get Michael Myers. Michael Myers be whistled for his second. 5th team foul as Flint Kirk's going to come into the ballgame for this Tornado squad. He'll replace Myers, who just picked up that second foul with 6:23 to play here in the first half.
Tobias will be the inbounds man, tries to get it to Smith on the lob. He has nothing and kicks it out to Ross. His three ball no good, but a nice tip-in basket for Blaine Miller. That kid has got hustle written all over him. It's a 16-9 lead here for the Tornadoes with 6:10 left to go in the first half. Lane Lipkman with the basketball, takes some dribbles as the GP offense gets set. Flint Kirk flashing on the elbows, McAllister down on the block. Now they get it over to Lane Lipkman, back to Wyatt. Free throw jumper from number 3, in and out, no good. Comes down into the hands of Dylan Ross.
Ross has his second rebound of the ball game. That's his first on the defensive side as the Wildcats throw it away. Their 12th turnover into the front court. Wyatt Lipkman gets it to Lane Lipkman, and he's going to be whistled for a travel as he was worried about trying to draw the contact there. Tried to come to a jump stop, but they're going to say he took an extra step in the process. So it'll be a turnover against the Tornadoes. That's their 5th.
16-9 here. Regional quarterfinal action from Griggsville Perry. Winner will go to the semifinals at Payson Seymour coming up on Wednesday night. Wildcats work it down to Keller on the left side. Tries to get it around. Now they get it back to Smith. He whips it back over now to Tobias. Cross-court pass to Smith. Drives in, shot from 18 feet. No good off the baseline, and comes into the hands of Woodward. They get it to Wyatt Lipkman, and now Smith's going to get a foul 70 feet away from the basket.
And that'll be Smith's second foul. Team foul number 6 against the Wildcats. So the Tornadoes will shoot the bonus. The remaining 5:15 of the first half. Smith's going to stay out there with those 2 fouls as the Wildcats need his scoring out on the floor.
McAllister tries to get rid of it down on the high-low. Couldn't get it to White. Almost threw it away, but Wyatt Lipkman able to pick it back up. Now McAllister to Lane Lipkman. Now back over to Woodward on the left side. Less than 5 minutes left to go here in the first half. You're watching it alongside Brian Shoemaker and Damon Emmerich here live on Central Illinois Sports. Lane Lipkman, 3 ball from the top of the key, off the back of the iron, no good. Rebound comes down to Smith. Smith now pushing for the Wildcats. On the right side, tries to go past Lane Lipkman. Lipkman steals it away. It's a turnover for Western. Lipkman tries to go coast to coast, up with the right hand, knocks it down, and Lane Lipkman gets to steal the layup and the chance for the old-fashioned three-point play.
That will beat foul number 7 against the Wildcats. Keller's whistled for his 3rd foul, and as Brian told you, Lane Lipkman at the line looking to complete the and one and give his team their largest lead of the ball game as Rucker's back in as Keller takes a seat. Lane Lipkman, that is, has 6 points. His team's tied their largest lead of the ball game at 9. Unable to make the free throw is Lipkman, and the rebound comes down into the hands of Dylan Ross.
Rucker with it now as they work it around the perimeter. Smith with the basketball. He's only taken 2 shots so far in the basketball game, Damon. They've got to change that. Shot gets blocked from McAllister. Here comes GP now. Wyatt Lipkman running down. Up with the layup and good as Wyatt Lipkman. He goes coast to coast in transition. It's a 29 lead for GP. 4:10 left to go here in the second quarter. Tornadoes really starting to get some things going, especially in transition. Curtis Stout says, let's take a timeout. We'll take it, too. It's a 29 lead for GP. We're back in 30 seconds.
This is Charlie Hull, and I'm asking for your vote for the Pikeland School Board. As a lifelong resident of Pike County, I know of the many great things the Pikeland School District has been able to accomplish and the great success of so many of our students. I want to help make our district a place where kids are excited to learn, teachers are excited to teach, and a place our great community members feel welcomed and proud to be a part of. I would appreciate your vote for Pikeland School Board on April 4th.
Back to live action here as the Western Wildcats take the timeout. They trail 20-9 here in regional quarterfinal action in Griggsville Perry. We remind you Charlie Hull and gang will be up at Carthage starting just around 2 o'clock as the Pittsfield Sockies take on the Illini West Chargers in 2A quarterfinal action. Tobias almost loses the basketball and picks it back up as they have to get it across the timeline, and they do. They'll get it back to Tobias, who's guarded now by Lane Lipkman. Picks the basketball up, and there's going to be a push foul on Lane Lipkman there as he got a little too aggressive on the defensive side.
That'll be his second 16 foul against the Tornadoes.
You know, Damon, it's a curse and the charm with as aggressive as the guys are for GP defensively, and we'll tell you why here as Tobias misses the layup try as McAllister got a hand on it. Miller loses the basketball and it goes out of bounds. The challenge is that the Lipkeman boys and everybody else on this GP squad are so aggressive defensively. The challenge is they get a lot of fouls and they don't have a deep bench.
They do, and you need to have the Lipkeman boys out on the floor at all times. But the other thing for them is sometimes they've got to know when to be aggressive. And, 50, 75 feet away from the bucket, maybe not so much. But you got to take with the good with the bad here at times, and more times than not, it's beneficial for them as Lane takes it to the bucket. Shot attempt for him is up and no good. Zach Rucker tracks down the board for the Wildcats.
Smith tries to push the tempo here as now Miller gets the basketball. Free throw line jumper is good for Blaine Miller. He knocks it down for two. It's a 2011 basketball game with 3:13 left to go here in the opening frame. We're not seeing a lot of shots out of Mason Smith, but he is really trying to dictate the offensive pace here for Western. There's a three ball from Lane Lipkeman. It's no good. Rebound comes down to Dylan Ross. Pushing again. Now they get it to Miller on the touchdown pass. He gets it blocked away from Woodward. Here comes GP now in the transition. Wyatt Lipkeman with the basketball, tries to go right. Nothing there as they work it back down. Woodward thought about the three. Passes on as they keep working around the perimeter. 2:44 left to go here in the first half as Michael Myers will check back in on the next dead ball. Lipkeman with the basketball. McAllister and White high-low there for GP. Lane Lipkeman kicks it back over. Wyatt Lipkeman, three ball on the right side is good. Wyatt Lipkeman having a day. Give him three more. It's a 23-11 lead, largest of the game for the Tornadoes. Western now gets it almost tipped away as Wyatt Lipkeman got a hand on it. They pick it back up, and here comes Western. Smith driving in. Goes up with the right hand on the left side. No good, but there'll be a foul on Western as Miller was able to try get the foul on the rebound try, and it's going to be bonus shots for GP.
Be Miller's second, 8th-team foul of the half against the Wildcats. So it'll send Dane McAllister to the line for the Griggsville Perry squad as we see Lane Lipkeman takes the seat for the Tornadoes. Flint Kirk checks back in for Griggsville Perry. Michael Myers did not check back in as it will be a defensive possession, so Garrett White elects to keep him on the bench with those two fouls. As McAllister's at the line, his free throw attempt is off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound controlled by Dylan Ross. That's his 5th rebound of the contest.
Just over 2 minutes left to go here in the first half. 23-11 lead here for the Tornadoes. Ross with the basketball, cross-court pass comes into the hands of Smith. Fakes out White, comes up with a three ball. Nice shot and a move for Mason Smith. Give him three more. It's a 23-14 lead for the Tornadoes, 1:50 left to go. McAllister cross-court pass over to Woodward. They quickly work it now to Wyatt Lipkeman on the right side. 1:40 left to go. We'll break things down for you coming up on the Little Jazz halftime show. Flint Kirk, Eli White inside. McAllister cross-court pass to Wyatt Lipkeman. Still nothing here as GP content to play a little patient game. Lipkeman now with a three ball. He knocks down another triple. Wyatt Lipkeman gets three more. It's 26-14. 14 points now in the first half for Wyatt Lipkeman. Pass from Smith, tried to find Max Keller. It goes a little wide. It'll go out of bounds. Another turnover for Western, Damon, as you've got Michael Myers checking into the basketball game. And unfortunately for Western, they've probably touched the ball on a shot as much as they've turned the ball over here in the first half.
Yeah, Western now with 15 turnovers compared to 17 shot attempts. As Brian told you, Michael Myers checked back in to the ball game. Lane Lipkeman also checked back in. So the original starting five on the court for the Tornadoes, and they will likely look to hold for the last shot as they have the 26-14 lead with 50 seconds to play here on the Trucks LLC scoreboard. And they will also have the possession coming out of the half unless we have a tie-up here in the next 40 seconds.
Western content to let GP hold it. GP content to hold it. So while we're sitting here talking about things, Damon, we remind you that we'll have presence up in Payson and Camp Point Central for regional semifinal and championship action here coming up next week as now we get a little defensive pressure here.
And if the Sockies would happen to win today, we will also have them covered next week as they would go to Q&D for their regional. They've got to defeat a tough West Hancock squad today with 15 seconds to play. GP will look to do something here about the 8-second mark.
They work it now over to Lane Lipkeman. Pick coming from Woodward. 9 seconds, 8, 7. Wyatt back to Lane. 5 seconds. Back to Wyatt Lipkeman. He picks it up to Myers. Three ball in the left corner off the Rim no good, and we've reached halftime. It's the Little Jess Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram halftime show where the Griggsville Perry Tornadoes lead the Western Wildcats 26-14 here in the 1A regional quarterfinal. We're going to break things down for you, give some halftime stats and analysis coming up here in just a couple of minutes. You're watching it all live on Central Illinois Sports.
There's a road that makes all the difference between the good and the great. A road less traveled for the few who can handle the grind. One of hard work, dedication, integrity, and leadership, with a respect for heritage and tradition and a willingness to adapt. At Little Jess, we travel that road every day because we believe in that difference. And we dare our competition to try and keep up. Little Jess, serving the tri-state area since 1969.
Trucks LLC will be located this fall in the new building at 14 East Industrial Park Drive in Pittsfield. Call 217-922-0044. Diesel repair service offering 24-hour roadside repair, mobile service units, semi-truck and trailers, farm and ag equipment, DOT inspections, hydraulic hose repair, anything diesel, we can come to you along the road in the field or at your shop. It's Trucks. Call 217-922-0044. That's 217-922-0044.
One last bottle of beer on the wall. One last bottle of beer. Hey, we're back. Make that 100 bottles of beer on the wall. 100 bottles of beer. You take one down, you pass it around.
The Liquor Booth has one of the largest selections of alcohol in the area, including specialty bourbons, whiskeys, vodkas, and tequila. Serving you at 2 locations, 3520 Broadway and 12th and Locust in Quincy. Online at liquorboothquincy.com.
Welcome to Douglas Automotive and Tire, your expert truck and car repair center in Pittsfield, Illinois. We provide full service from oil changes to new tires and everything in between. Contact us today to schedule service. We're located at 303 West Jefferson Street in Pittsfield, Illinois. Call 217-922-0064. That's 217-922-0064. Britton and the gang know cars, and if you need repairs, call Douglas Automotive today for all your repairs.
Rewards checking, I'm not sure if there's a better checking account around.
They have 3 requirements each month, and if they meet those requirements, we will pay them the highest checking account interest rate that we have right now.
At this time, it is a very generous 4.07 APY.
As far as ID Secure goes,
it gives you protection with credit monitoring, cell phone protection.
Prevent identity theft at a reasonable cost.
It's watching out for you.
And every 90 days you get an update on it, so the peace of mind of that's very nice.
Welcome you back live here on the Little Jess Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram halftime show. Little Jess, the place to go for your next vehicle purchase. Their staff is committed to making the car buying process simple and making sure each customer's needs are satisfied. Learn more at littlejessmotor.com or stop by and see them at 3431 Main Street here in Quincy. As the Griggsville Perry Tornadoes lead 26-14 over the Western Wildcats in regional quarterfinal action for 1A hoops here in the state of Illinois. Damon Emmerich has been keeping tabs on all the stats and action here in the first half. He's got some breakdown of how things have went.
Well, after one quarter of play, Griggsville Perry had the lead of 10-4. And as Brian told you, they have their largest lead of the ballgame here at the half as they have a 26-14 lead in the ballgame. 2 lead changes in this one. We have yet to be tied. Griggsville Perry with 5 turnovers in the ballgame. Western with 15 turnovers. Western does have some foul problems going on for them as they have Max Keller with 3 fouls and then 2 fouls apiece for Blaine Miller and Mason Smith. For the Griggsville Perry squad, Michael Myers and Lane Lipkman both picked up 2 fouls in the first half as the Tornado squad came out to a 26-14 lead here at the half.
Tornadoes up by a dozen, and they've been in control in this one basically since the start. But Western is a pesky squad, and we expect to see some things out of them in the second half to try and adjust. You're watching the Little Jess Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram halftime show. We'll step away and tell you about some of the wonderful sponsors who have made it possible for us to cover high school basketball this season. When we come back, some halftime analysis and what we expect to see here in the second half. Brian Shoemaker, Damon Emmerich, and Gavin Hilgenbrink. You're watching it live with us here on Central Illinois Sports.
PCRE Real Estate and Auction is your #1 resource for buying or selling real estate in West Central Illinois. With 2 office locations, one in Pike County and the other in Calhoun County, PCRE Real Estate and Auction is the place to go when you're looking to buy or sell farmland, recreational and hunting land, residential or commercial property. See our current listings at PCRERealestate.com or call us at 217-285-5800 for PCRE Real Estate and Auction.
At Game Masters in Quincy,
we're passionate about the outdoors.
Shooting is one of our favorite pastimes.
When it comes to guns and ammo, think Game Masters. They have new guns, used guns, gun safes, and gun accessories. And be sure to head over to GameMastersOutdoors.com to check out our great selection.
Clothing, fishing, hunting, gifts, and more. At Game Masters in Quincy,
we're passionate about the outdoors.
Hey, Dad. We're going for a run.
Well, just be careful. Make sure you're not running alone.
Another virus was blocked? Are you doing an online quiz?
This one's going to tell me my IQ.
All these quizzes are for is to get your passwords for everything. How do you not know that? How long have you been doing these quizzes for?
How old are you?
11?
11 years.
How do you not know how old I am? All right, well, we're going to go for a run and watch for cars and strangers, and you change all your passwords so your identity isn't wiped out.
A bit dramatic. Really like to know my IQ, though.
Luke and Aaron Fessler at Fessler Insurance are here to help you with all of your insurance needs. Fessler Insurance, a Country Financial agency, provides life, health, auto, home, and farm insurance. Trust your insurance needs to the local folks at Fessler Insurance. Call for a quote today at 217-285-4429 or stop by at 1165 West Washington Street in Pittsfield for Fessler Insurance.
Welcome you back here live on the Little Jess Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram halftime show. LittleJessMotor.com, the place to go for your next vehicle purchase, or stop by and see them in person at 3431 Main in Quincy. It's a 26-14 lead here for the Griggsville Perry Tornadoes as we see the Western Wildcats make their way back onto the court. Damon, this is a Western Wildcat squad that has really struggled against this Tornadoes team over the past few seasons. But they're not going to quit yet. We don't expect to see this team give up here until the final buzzer tonight. They've got to find a way to get Mason Smith involved, and they've really got to find a way to just calm down. It just feels like they get very worked up against this GP defense.
Yeah, and it's easy to do. That's what this defense wants to do. They want to speed you up. They want you to try to get the ball moving so quick that you throw the ball away, or it leads to opportunities for the Tornadoes to get some fast break opportunities. But Western has come out, and they've matched the intensity, and I might even say they've had more intensity than what this Griggsville Perry squad has, but they've just had a few too many unforced turnovers. But a 12-point lead or a 12-point deficit for the Wildcat squad is not insurmountable.
No, not at all. And I think the biggest thing you'll have to see here is what's going to happen in probably the first 2 to 3 minutes. This is an opportunity here for the Wildcats to maybe get back into this basketball game, or if things unravel rather quickly, a 12-point lead turns into a 20-point lead rather quickly, and things get a little bit out of reach. If you're the Tornadoes, you want to continue to try and stay out of foul trouble and keep your main rotation on the floor at all times. And I think, you know, Damon, just continue to do what they're doing well, which is turn defense into offense. And, of course, they've rebounded the ball rather well today, and they've been able to get into transition, which are 2 big keys for this team.
Well, honestly, what's hurt this Griggsville Perry squad a little bit is they've given up a few too many offensive rebounds. And when I say a few too many, they've maybe given up 4 or 5, but it's led to points. It's led to 4 of Western's 14 points. So they've got to limit that, because here's the reality of it is Griggsville Perry, the way they finish this second half, their intensity here is what's going to lead into a game on Wednesday night if they hold off and defeat this Western Wildcat squad. So they've got to come out here, they've got to put this game away, but they've got to match intensity and get ready for what's going to be a battle next week.
We're going to take a quick 30-second break, get something to drink, get your favorite bowl of popcorn pop. We're going to be back with second half action between Griggsville Perry and Western. You're watching it here live on Central Illinois Sports.
Here at Little Jess, we value hard work, dedication, integrity, and leadership. We have a respect for heritage and tradition and believe in the pursuit of building legacies, breaking records, and putting forth award-winning results. That's why supporting schools and local teams is one of our favorite and most exciting parts of our business. For over 7 decades, we strive daily to use those same values as a foundation to meet our community's automotive needs and support our future generations. Little Jess Motors, serving our community since 1969.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. You've heard that phrase many times. And Rod Prentice in Pittsfield, your State Farm agent, is the guy you can count on to be your friend and neighbor in the insurance business. He has a complete line of insurance available for you from State Farm Insurance. You can reach him at 217-285-6930. Our family trusts Rod Prentice with all of our insurance needs. Stop by their office on Washington Street and see the girls. And Rod Prentice, your State Farm agent, 217-285-6930.
Back to third quarter action here as we start to see what appears to be the starting 5 for the Western Wildcats. You've got Dylan Ross out there instead of Andrew Wilson, who has been injured in the first half. We still see him icing his ankle over on the sideline. For the GP side, you see Garrett Woodward taking a seat to start the second half, and you've got Eli White in here as GP tries to bulk up its interior presence. And Eli White's had a nice little basketball game here tonight, Damon. Been able to do some nice things. You've seen him not really be an offensive, aggressive player, but he's a guy that if he gets the basketball in his hands, he quickly gets it to wherever it needs to go, which is, if that's what you're going to be in the post, that's what you need to do.
Yeah, I think Eli White does a nice job. The only thing I would say that I'd like to see Eli White do is maybe look to score within that, 3 to 4 foot. He's a junior right now, so going into next season, him and Flint Kirk, if they could develop just a little shot from 6 to 8 foot in, this is going to make a big difference for this Tornado squad. But for right now, keep doing what you're doing. Get the defensive rebounds, get stops, play hard there, and you're going to continue to see minutes on this floor for the Tornado squad.
Western has the basketball here as we start the third quarter. They get it now over to Smith. He tries to throw it over to Tobias, who is going over the left side. It'll be a quick turnover for Western, and not the way that this Wildcat squad wanted to start the third period. And you talked about it, Damon. It's the unforced turnovers that have started to add up here. GP basketball, we see Zach Richardson here today from KHQA. You can watch a lot of highlights from across the area here tonight, coming up on Overtime with Chris Dewar on Channel 7. Lane Lipkin with the basketball, drive to the right side, and nothing there as they work it now back to McAllister. Wyatt Lipkin drives into the lane, nothing there as they work it now to Myers. Takes a couple of dribbles, kicks it back out to Lane Lipkin, this little weave offense for the Tornadoes. Myers now, 3-ball from the right wing, in for Michael Myers, knock it down for 3 for number 25, and that makes it a 29-14 lead, the biggest of the game here for GP. Smith dribbles through the press. Jump pass now to Miller on the baseline. Cross-court pass gets picked away easily from Wyatt Lipkin. Another turnover for Western. Here comes Lipkin. Lipkin in. Larceny layup. Can't get the layup to go in. And it goes down to the hands of Tobias. He'll now try to pick it up. Kicks it back over to Smith on the right side. Western avoids one there.
Might like on that possession right there, Michael Myers was streaking down the left-hand side. Looked like they probably could have dished it to him for a shot straight on. But either way, we've seen Lipkin make that shot a lot, but a nice job there to get out into the fast break. More times than not, the Tornadoes have capitalized on that this year.
They got the ball into Miller. He goes up on the right side from the elbow. Nothing there. Rebound comes down into Michael Myers. Quickly pushing it now down to Lane Lipkin to McAllister on the left baseline. 6:10 left to go here. Sometimes that bar on the rim kind of blocks the clock here from us. McAllister at the free throw line, guarded now by Dylan Ross. He drives left side. McAllister up and in on the nice easy drive. 2 points for McAllister, makes it a 31-14 lead for the Tornadoes as they're trying to pull away here early in the third.
I think that's a move you can see Dane McAllister do more and more throughout the year because he's a 6'4" big man as the Wildcats have their third turnover of the half. Front court, Michael Myers layup up and good, and we'll talk a little bit more about it after we come back. 33-14, Griggsville Perry with the lead. 5:37 to play, third quarter action. We're back after these.
Camp Point Central Sports are proud to have Dear Wester Grain as a sponsor of this broadcast. Dear Wester Grain, there for you for all your grain and feed needs. Why don't you give them a call and check out all the locations of Dear Wester Grain? With locations in Golden, Paloma, Mount Sterling, Clayton, La Prairie, Liberty, Industry, Carthage, and Blandonsville. For more information, call Dear Wester Grain Services 696-4461. That's 696-4461, or on the web at dearwestergrain.com. United Community Bank has been serving our community in banking since 1973 and is a proud member of the Pittsfield Strong United community. UCB brings you the latest banking technology, security, and convenience you expect, delivered with friendly local service you deserve from your community bank. UCB invites you to stop in for a visit at No. 1 Professional Plaza in Pittsfield, or you can find them online at ucbbank.com. United Community Bank, the leader of community banking, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Sign up for a Saki Rewards debit card.
Back to live action now as Western takes the timeout. GP trying to run away. They've got a 19-point lead. They're up 33-14 here with 5:30 left to go in the third. Smith drives coast to coast. He goes up, and it's a foul on the floor. There's a must be Eli White on the reach in.
It's going to be Eli White's first team foul of the half against the Tornadoes. Nobody stopped up there to stop Smith as he was attacking the basket, and White finally had to foul him there before he could get a shot off. So it'll be Wildcats basketball. 5:20 to play. Third quarter action.
They tried to get it into Smith in the short corner. McAllister tipped it away. It's another turnover for the Wildcats. GP quickly pushing now. This is Myers. Gets it into Lane Lipkeman. He'll pull it back out with 5:10 left to go here in the third. Winner goes to Payson on Wednesday night. Myers' three ball is no good. Rebound fought for on the ground, and now Smith and McAllister get their hands on it. It'll be a tie-up, and possession arrow will favor the Tornadoes.
That's a good shot right there by Michael Myers. We've seen him knock down 2 threes, but again, it's been within the flow of the offense, and that's the key right there for Myers. When he gets a shot in rhythm, even if it doesn't go down, it looks like a good shot. We've seen that several times already today, as Griggsville Perry has their first turnover at the half. That's the 6th of the ball game.
Miller got his hands on it as Smith goes up. His running jumper is good. Gives Smith 2 more. It's a 33-16 game. Griggsville Perry with the lead in the basketball. Lane Lipkeman with it now on the left side. Drives into the lane. Goes up against Miller. No call on the contact. A rebound comes down to Max Keller. Wildcats trying to push. Kaysen Tobias with the basketball. Nice little behind the back dribble. Goes into the lane. It goes off of his leg though. As it gets tipped away from Eli White, it'll be a turnover on the Wildcats in a Tornadoes basketball.
That's the 5th turnover already of the third quarter against Western. Their 20th of the ball game.
It's tough to win any basketball game no matter who you play or how talented you are when those turnovers start to pile up. Cross-court pass from Lipkeman to Lipkeman. Now they get it down to Myers in the corner. Eli White floating around the free throw line. McAllister now in the low block. Myers with the basketball trying to find McAllister. Nothing there as GP resets. 4:08 left to go here in the third. Myers, 3 ball in the left corner. Off the back of the iron, no good. McAllister fights for the rebound. It's a loose ball, and here comes Mason Smith with it. Smith goes coast to coast. Layup and in, good for Mason Smith. 33-18 lead here for the Tornadoes. You get Mason Smith open. This is a kid that can finish at the rim. He has really worked on that game, and he is a really talented basketball player. As now Myers is going to answer with a quick 2. 35-18 lead here for GP. Smith with it now. Pulls up from the free throw line. 2 more for Mason Smith. He's going to start to pile up points quick. It's a 35-20 lead as the teams trade baskets here in the middle of the third. Wyatt Lipkeman now over to Myers. He almost loses it. Tobias kind of bumps around with him. Lane Lipkeman drives around Tobias. Free throw, picks it up. Myers with the basketball on the left side. Still a little bit of a zone look here from Western with 3:15 left to go in the third. Myers drives baseline, running jumper with the right hand, no good. Comes down to the rebound is Dylan Ross. Eli White bumps around with him, and they say it'll go off of White and remain a Western basketball.
Flint Kirk will come into the ball game for the Tornadoes. Dane McAllister takes a seat.
3:08 left to go here in the third quarter. We remind you, Charlie and company will be up at Carthage as that pass kind of floats around and lands on the inbound line. It'll be out of bounds on Western.
Nobody touched it, so no. Griggsville Perry will inbound about the free throw line extended on their end of the court. Myers will trigger the ball into Lane Lipkeman.
Basketball now over to Wyatt Lipkeman. Drives into the free throw line. They say that'll be a blocking, moving screen on Clint Kirk.
That'll be Kirk's second. Team foul number 2 and the 7th turnover against the Tornadoes. Woodward will check back in for Griggsville Perry. Kirk will take a seat.
Looks like Jackson White's going to check back in here for the Wildcat squad. 3:02 left to go. Western with the basketball and the length of the floor to go against Griggsville Perry's full court pressure. They get it now into Smith, and Smith walks and grabs his feet. It'll be a turnover on Western.
Nice job by Michael Myers there to sneak up, where as soon as Smith turned around, Myers was right there, and Smith shuffled the feet a little bit before he got the ball on the floor. So turnover against the Wildcats. That's their 7th of the third quarter, 22nd of the ball game.
Myers now, 3 ball, and the pass from Lane Lipkeman is good. Lane Lipkeman gets the dime. Michael Myers knocks it down for 3. Biggest lead of the Tornadoes. 38-20 as now we get a foul here. That'll stop play.
Woodward's whistled for his first, 3rd team foul against the Tornadoes. 2:42 to play here, third quarter action. Griggsville Perry leading Western 38-20 on the Trucks LLC scoreboard.
Tobias with the basketball as they quickly work it now. Smith with a 3 ball from the right wing. No good as he hurried that shot. Rebound comes down into the hands of Woodward. With the basketball, Wyatt Lipkeman gets it to Lane in the short corner. Tipped away and stolen by Dylan Ross. Here come the Wildcats. Tobias with it. Runs into double trouble. He drives through it and he collides with Eli White, and it'll be a foul on the floor against the Tornadoes.
Be the 4th foul of the half against Griggsville Perry, as White will be whistled for his 2nd foul. Flint Kirk in for the Tornadoes. Woodward takes a seat. On the other side, we'll see Blaine Miller check back in for Western as Jackson White heads to the bench for the Wildcat squad.
Jackson with an X, Jaxon. Wildcats with the basketball. They trail by 18. They get it to Tobias inside. He goes up with it, and he gets fouled, and Tobias is going to go to the free throw. Oh, they say that'll be a foul on the floor.
Going to call it on the floor. White's whistled for his 3rd, and 15 foul against the against the Tornadoes. White is going to take a seat. Woodward back in for Griggsville Perry.
Ross will be the inbounds man here with 2:12 left to go in the third. Streaking across is Smith. They don't get it to him. They go to Tobias instead back at the volleyball line. Back over to Blaine Miller. He's had a nice basketball game for Western. Takes a few dribbles, picks it up now, gives it to Max Keller as they weave around on the right side. This is Smith with the basketball. Back over to the left side. Now they get it to Tobias. He almost loses it as Woodward got a hand in. Now they try to push it in. They get it to Ross. He kind of avoids everybody. Goes up with it. Can't finish. And here come the Tornadoes on the rebound. Wyatt Lipkeman goes in. Nice little Euro step move for Wyatt Lipkeman. Give him 2 more. And it's the 20-point lead now for Griggsville Perry. They're up 40-20. 1:36 left to go here in the third as Tobias tries to drive in, and he'll draw the foul.
Wyatt Lipkeman will be whistled for his first. That is now the 6th team foul against the Tornadoes. So the Wildcats will shoot the bonus the remaining 9.5 minutes of the ball game, as we see for Western, Zach Rucker checks back in as Tobias will take a seat for Coach Curtis Stout's squad.
Ross will be the inbounds man. He'll kick it back out to Smith. 1:30 left to go here in the third. Over now to the left side to Rucker. They work it down to Blaine Miller. Gets it now back up to Keller on the left elbow. He fakes a shot. Nothing there, and works it around to Miller. Had it at the free throw line. Nice little dish into Max Keller. He goes up with the right hand and good. Does Max Keller. 40-22, and here come the Tornadoes. Lane Lipkeman drives in on the baseline. He's going to collide with Blaine Miller, who almost clotheslined him on the baseline, and 25 will pick up the foul.
I mean, Miller's 3rd. Brian, I can't quite see the scoreboard, but I think that's the first foul of the half against Western.
That is correct.
40-22, GP with the lead. 1:09 left to play, third quarter action, as Wyatt Lipkeman will set the offense up here with a minute to go here in the third quarter.
Lane Lipkeman cross-court pass over to Myers as he's guarded by Max Rucker. 1 minute left to go here in the third. It'll be Western basketball, barring a tie-up or a change of possession. With some dribbles at half court is Wyatt Lipkeman back over to twin brother Lane. Now they kick it back to Myers in the corner as GP content to play a little keep away and hold on to the basketball. Lane drives in, nothing there against Ross. He'll pull it back out. Myers with it, and they say that's going to be 3 in the lane on Garrett Woodward. It'll be a turnover for the Tornadoes.
Turnover number 9 against GP.
38 seconds left to go here as they get the ball to Smith. They've got to get past the full court pressure here of the Griggsville Perry Tornadoes, which has caused quite a bit of fits today for the guys in red. Rucker with it at half court. Turns and gets it now to Keller on the baseline. He's got nowhere to go. He'll take a few dribbles. 25 seconds left to go here in the third. Ross over to Smith. He takes a quick glance up at the clock, make sure there's no count from the official. 18 seconds left to go. Now we get a start from Tim Crumweed. 12 seconds. Smith now over to Ross. Here comes the Wildcat offense. Smith with the basketball collides with Wyatt Lipkeman. He gets a hand on it. Smith with a long basket try, no good. Comes down into the hands of Woodward. He'll heave it 3/4 of court. It's nowhere to be found, and we've got through 3/4 of basketball. The Griggsville Perry Tornadoes lead the Western Wildcats 40-22. We've got fourth quarter play-by-play coming up here in 60 seconds.
If your job situation is changing because of layoffs or restructuring, you may have to make several decisions. One important decision may be what to do with your retirement plan. Make sure your retirement stays on track. Derek Harris, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. Stop by the office at 1891 Main Street in Quincy, Illinois. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
When you think of fall, what comes to mind besides pumpkins, honey, and football? How about fertilizer? Studies show more than 1/3 of your crop's yield is determined by fertilizer alone. Studies also show as much as 40% potassium and 30% phosphate gets tied up in stalks and residue, as well as high clay content. Nutrient Ag Solutions recommends Titan, which is an innovative fertilizer catalyst designed for use with dry fertilizer blends. Titan will keep nutrients from being tied up and increase fertilizer availability in your crop. Titan is a low-cost option to improve crop fertility. Contact your nutrient crop consultant today.
For fourth quarter action here, Western will have the basketball to start the fourth quarter, trailing 40-22 after 3/4 of play. Western is 10 of 25 from the field for 40%. On the other side, Griggsville Perry is 15 of 31 from the field as Western tracks down the loose ball and then is going to have a turnover. That'll be their 23rd.
A little bit of a haphazard play as they tried to find the lob to Smith. Couldn't get it. Myers is going to go up and good. Give him 2 more. It's a 20-point lead again for Griggsville Perry. And then Miller kind of got 2 hands and shoved the guy down to the ground and didn't get a call. Western with the basketball again. This is Tobias, drives into the lane, and he'll draw the hold from Lane Lipkeman. It'll be a foul on the floor against GP.
But it will send the Wildcats to the line to shoot the one-hand bonus as Lane Lipkeman was whistled for his 3rd. Tobias is at the line for the Wildcats. This will be the first free throw attempt of the ball game for Western as we are at the 7:23 mark of the fourth quarter. Tobias gets the first to go. He's got 5.
Remind you about our friends at Farm and Home Supply. Snacks and hoodies, power tools, lawn chairs, and more. Nobody has it all like your Farm and Home Supply as the second free throw is good. 42-23 basketball game. Make it 24 on the scoreboard, on the Trucks LLC scoreboard with 7:15 left to go. Flint Kirk with the basketball. He takes a few dribbles and hands it off to Wyatt Lipkeman. He'll drive baseline through 2 defenders. Nice move by Wyatt Lipkeman. Give him 2 more. It's a 20-point lead once again, 44-24 on a dandy move from Wyatt Lipkeman.
He's got 18 in the ball game.
14 at half. Smith with the basketball. He'll fire up another 3 off the back of the iron. No good, and the rebound comes down to Michael Myers. Wyatt Lipkeman with the basketball, driving through everybody, gets tripped up. No call. Rucker comes up with it. Turnover on GP. He hands it off to Smith. He'll try and go up with it, but they say that'll be a foul on the floor. It'll be Western basketball out of bounds, but we'll send Smith to the free throw line because we're in bonus, and I forgot that.
Lane Lipkeman whistled for his 4th, so he's going to go to the bench as Woodward checks back in. Mason Smith at the line for the Wildcats. Smith has 12 points. Still the one-and bonus. Griggsville Perry with the 44-24 lead. 6:40 to play here in the contest. Smith's free throw attempt is up, and it is good. The sophomore will have 1 shot left.
Remind you about Bowlers Universe, open Monday to Thursday, 11 a.m., 10 p.m., Fridays until midnight. And hey, tonight they're open until midnight as well. Menu items from burgers, fries, specialty pizzas, and try those delicious craft beers. Come enjoy the fun at Bowlers Universe. It's a 44-26 lead here for Griggsville Perry. They've got the basketball with 6:30 left to go. Winner advances to the semifinals Wednesday at Payson Seymour.
Ross whistled for his second foul of the half against Western. Things have gotten a little chippy here the last 5 minutes or so of game time.
Well, this Wildcat squad wants to go down if that's going to be the way to go, and they don't want to give up. That's just the culture that Curtis Stout has instilled in these guys. I got to watch this team play against Unity. It was the same type of thing. This is a team that does not go down until the very end, Damon, and they're going to go out with some pride if that's going to be the way this season ends, as Mason Smith is going to pick up the foul.
That'll be his third team foul against Western.
And there's still a lot to like on this Western squad. Damon, you talk about the talented sophomore Mason Smith. Kason Tobias is just a sophomore. We've seen a lot of nice basketball games out of him, along with Dylan Ross. They're going to lose some talented seniors on this team, but there's still a little bit of a core left for Curtis Stout to work with next year.
Yeah, he's got a nice returning group. Always nice when you can get two of your top scorers to return. And the big thing is, if you can get your guys to buy in and play hard, that's one of the toughest things to do as a coach. And so when you've got talent and kids that play hard, that makes your life something you look forward to a whole lot more about the next season starting.
Tornadoes with the weave here. 5:35 left to go in the contest. Myers with the basketball, picks it up against two defenders, works it now over to the right side. Almost gets tipped away from Smith. Flint Kirk picks it back up. He's got to get away with it. Western fans wanted a double dribble. Wyatt Lipkin with the basketball. 5:20 left to go. He's guarded in the backcourt by Tobias. Now back over to Myers. Now they work it around, tipped away by Rucker, and it gets picked up, and there will be a foul on the floor. Looks like it's going to be against Western.
I think they're going to, they're not going to get Rucker for that. It'll go against Blaine Miller. That's his fourth, and the fourth team foul against Western. So Miller will stay out there with those 4 fouls.
Lipkin with the basketball. Tornadoes up by a bunch here in the third. Just 5 minutes left to go in this one. There's going to be a foul in the backcourt as Smith tosses his hands up in some frustration.
Now that's Smith's fourth, so that's 5th team foul. So Smith and Miller both with 4 fouls. They've got to be careful with 4:59 to play here in the ballgame.
They'll get it back to Wyatt Lipman. He'll take it across the timeline casually and moves it over to the right side to Michael Myers. Woodward flashes through the lane, nothing there as they work it back to the left side. This is Wyatt Lipman. He's had another ball game. Another nice ball game, you would say, here for GP. He's had some high-scoring affairs this season, Damon. A couple of 30-point games and had a really nice homecoming contest, but he's going to draw the offensive foul that time.
That'll be his second, 9th team foul, turnover number 11. Yeah, we've seen Wyatt had 39 points there against Payson on homecoming, had 21 the other night against Calhoun. So he can put some points up in a hurry, and we've seen him get more comfortable as the season's gone on, taking those outside shots as well.
He'll be a 1,000-point scorer before it's all said and done on the Tornadoes scoring list. Smith up and good off the right hand, and Curtis Stout will take a timeout after the basket. We'll take it too. Griggsville Perry 44, Western 28, 4:24 left in the game. We're back in 30 seconds.
Time to be thinking about tax planning. You can count on Illinois FBFM for accounting, consulting, and tax preparation for farmers and businesses in Pike, Brown, and Adams County. Phone 217-593-7233. That's 593-7233. Illinois FBFM can take care of your farm accounting needs. Get your accounts in order for this tax season. Contact Jesse Shootman, Emily Matthews, and Brad Wellman. Illinois FBFM in Camp Point, working for you.
Wildcats take the timeout after the basket. They trail 44-28 here on the Trucks LLC scoreboard. 4.5 minutes to go to decide this one. Winner will go to the semifinals. Well, we anticipate, Damon, that they would get a third matchup against the Triopia Trojans. They've got to get through this one first now as Lipman's got to get the basketball. GP's got to get it across the timeline. Woodward able to get that done, picks it up right across half court and gets it to Wyatt Lipman. Myers was standing wide open in the short corner. They couldn't get it to him that time. Lipkeman with the basketball. Wyatt Lipkeman tries to work it down into Kirk, and it's going to be a foul in the backcourt on Ross. Foul against Western.
Ross's second. 6-team foul against Western. So now both teams will be in the bonus the remainder of the contest. And as aggressive as Western is being, it's leaving a man wide open down there around the basket for GP. If they just got to keep their head up and find him, could lead to some easy buckets for them. But instead, it's going to be Wyatt Lipkeman going to the line for Griggsville Perry to shoot the one-and bonus, as he was fouled by Ross, who picks up his third, team foul number 7. So Lipkeman will go to the line where he is 1 for 2 from there in the ball game. He's got 18 of his team's 44 points. They've got the 44-24 lead with 3:54 to play in the ball game. Wyatt's shot attempt is up and in and out, no good. But this is a big one right there, Brian, as Flint Kirk gets the offensive rebound, but in the process picks up the 5th foul against Mason Smith. So Western's leading scorer is going to foul out of the ball game with 3:52 to play. So Kirk doing what he's on the floor to do, and that is to get boards and create some hectic play out of this Wildcat squad. But he's at the line for his first points of the ball game, where Kirk's first is up and good. Check that. That's actually Kirk's third points of the ball game. As Woodward goes to the bench, Michael Myers takes a seat, and Lane Lipkeman is also out on the court right now with those 4 fouls that he's playing with. As Kirk gets them both to go, he's got 4.
Pike County Express, your local family-owned newspaper, serving Pike County since 1991. Check it out each Wednesday on a newsstand near you, as Wyatt Lipkeman's going to go back to the free throw line. It's going to be still 9 fouls, Damon, here, as the Tornadoes will be in single or a regular bonus shot.
They're going to call it a foul on the shot, so Wyatt will be shooting 2 shots as Ross picked up his 4th. Lipkeman's first attempt is up and good. He's got 1 shot remaining.
Real Net and Twine, located just north of Pittsfield across from the airport. Real Net and Twine, your local headquarters for concrete, lawn ornaments, statues, fountains, and so much more. Stop by and see them or call 217-285-5013 for Real Net and Twine.
Wyatt gets them both. That matches the largest lead of the ball game for the Tornadoes at 20, 48-28, as we're going to have a deflection on the cross-court pass. So it will remain with Western. 3:40 to play in the ball game. Again, Mason Smith on the bench for the Wildcat squad. He just picked up his 5th foul moments ago. He went to the bench with 16 points in the ball game.
A nice night from the sophomore. We'll expect to see many more from him over the next 2 seasons. Tobias with the basketball gets over to Ross. Now they get it to Rucker in the corner. He pushes it into Blaine Miller. He tried to get something open, tried to create some separation, and couldn't do so against Eli White. Tobias with the basketball, picks it up, gets it to Keller. 3:17 left to go in this one. Now gets tipped away. Nice stop by Flint Kirk, and another turnover on Western. Here comes Wyatt Lipkeman with the basketball. GP in total control right here, a 20-point lead. And 3 minutes to go to advance to the semifinals Wednesday night at Payson Seymour. Wyatt Lipkeman with the basketball over to Lane on the left side. He'll dribble around. Now is GP very content to play keep away. They get it to Kirk inside. He'll dribble it back out. 2:50 left to go. Wyatt Lipkeman now here. As we start to look ahead here a little bit, as Tobias is going to pick up the foul, and that's going to send GP to the line for double bonus.
So since Wyatt Lipkeman back to the line, he's 3 for 5 from there in the ballgame. He's got 20 of his team's 48, and if he makes at least one of these, it'll give his team the largest lead of the ballgame that they've had. He gets the first one off the front of the rim and finds its way down. Jackson White, as Brian told you, Jackson with an X is back in for the Wildcats as Dylan Ross takes a seat. On the other end, Wyatt Lipkeman makes his second free throw, so he makes a pair, and it's a 22-point advantage for this Griggsville Perry squad.
You start to look ahead for this GP squad here, Damon. They're going to be in a semifinal against either Triopia or North Green. And in a game that we would, say Triopia is probably the favored one, as Tobias's 3 is no good, and Myers comes down with the rebound. It's going to be the 3rd time they'll take on Triopia if that turns out to be the case. If they happen to play against North Green, that's also a team they've played twice before, and they've defeated them both times rather handily. So Griggsville Perry's going to have a little bit of a few days to reset here. and you don't know which team you're going to get, but if you get that Triopia squad, it was an overtime affair here just on Tuesday night, and it's going to probably be a pretty good basketball game.
Now, I believe it was Tuesday's game at Triopia, or was Tuesday's game here on their home court?
It was at
So they've played Triopia twice this year on Triopia's home court. Once was without one of Triopia's leading scorers in the Triopia tournament. But it's always tough to beat a team 3 times, especially in that quick of a turnaround time. But the key for Griggsville Perry is going to come away with a large margin of victory today. But I didn't feel like Griggsville Perry came out with the intensity we've seen them have here the last few games that they've played. So they're going to have to come out with that intensity on Wednesday if they want to have a chance to compete for a regional championship, as we see Lane Lipkeman at the line shooting 2. His first was off the back of the iron, no good. Wholesale changes coming in for both squads that Brian will tell you about as we go.
We'll get him here in just a second, as we want to, make a mention here. You talk about guys like Andrew Wilson, Zach Rucker, Max Keller, Blaine Miller, Jackson White on this Western squad. These are hardworking kids for Curtis Stout's squad. They haven't been the most talented and competitive team, of this season or the past couple of seasons, but, some darn good kids in the red jerseys here today, and guys that we've seen play some nice basketball games this season. And we salute these guys as they're going to wrap up their high school careers here tonight at Griggsville Perry. And now we've got another quick whistle as Curtis Stout wants to talk something over, as we'll just kind of keep it right here with 1:33 left to go. You see some guys like Brendan Miller, a 5'8 freshman, number 13, who has checked in, along with number 32, Damian Orr, the 6'5 freshman who's a center. Also checking in, Braden Smith, 5'8 junior, or 5'8 freshman guard. He wears number 1. We'll get the last couple of them here. On the other side for GP, you've got a lot of guys that have checked in here. We saw Braden Lister, Wade Lipkeman, and a lot of the other guys. We'll get them all here as we Logan Fensick has checked in as well.
Mason Bolton onto the
Bolton's
court.
in as well.
And so we'll have Wade Lipkeman, Logan Fensick, Braden Lister, Mason Bolton all onto the floor for the first time. And then Garrett Woodward is just a sophomore. He'll be out there with this group. He spent a lot of time playing with this group that's out on the court for Coach Garrett White.
Boston Hall is number 12. He's the remaining player that's checked in here for Western. 1:33 left to go. We'll break everything down for you on the Illini Community Hospital postgame show. Charlie and company are on air right now. They're up at Carthage where the Sockies are taking on the Illini West Chargers. And we're going to get a foul here on the reach in.
That's going to go against Braden Lister, so it'll be his first. Be double bonus for Damian Orr at the line for the Wildcats. Orr looking for his first points of the ball game as he just checked in moments ago.
But it's going to, let's just project that Griggsville Perry's going to take on Triopia here, Damon. One of the big keys they're going to have to settle down is the big man, KJ Beck, inside. He is a load, and if he gets on a roll for that Triopia squad, that is a tough guy to stop, a 6'5 center inside. They've got a lot of nice shooters like Aiden Nethery, and of course the talented Ryan Snow, who's trying to play on a little bit of a hard ankle as the second free throw is up and no good. And again, it was an overtime affair. Griggsville Perry won by about 10 in the Triopia tournament without Snow, so we expect to see a pretty even matchup. And
I think what Griggsville Perry's going to have to do is we've seen today, we saw Dane McAllister put the ball on the floor a couple of times and attack the basket. We've seen Michael Myers has the ability to do so. I think those two guys may need to look to do that early on in the game against Triopia and try to draw some fouls or get some quick buckets. They've got to find a way to take advantage of their speed. Triopia's got a little bit more size in some places, but Griggsville Perry typically has the speed advantage. They're going to have to come out and be able to take advantage of that. You know what each team's going to do. You've played them twice, so there's no secrets there, but it's who can come out and execute the best.
Brown County defeats Hartsburg-Emden 56-36. They advance in the Lewistown Regional. Congrats to their Lady Hornets, who just won a 1A regional last night over Biggsville West Central. It's been a busy time in Hornet country this season. A lot of success in the junior high boys level, and the girls doing well, and the boys have had a really nice season as well. 18 seconds left in this one. Wade Lipkeman now kicks it out. Lister thought about the three and holds off, as now Griggsville Perry very content to let this one whittle away. Griggsville Perry's going to win the basketball game 51-29 over the Western Wildcats. Western will finish up the season at 4-25. Griggsville Perry advances to a 24-8 record so far, the best season in quite a while here for the Tornadoes. You've reached the Illini Community Hospital postgame show. We'll give you final stats and more coming up here in just a couple of minutes on Central Illinois Sports.
Illini Community Hospital is committed to providing high-quality specialty care close to home. We are pleased to welcome Dr. William Severino, urologist, and Dr. Mark Mount, ear, nose, and throat physician, to the consulting physician clinic team at the Castile Center. Specialty care is also provided for orthopedics, cardiology, podiatry, obstetrics, oncology, and more. Learn more by visiting IlliniHospital.org or call 217-285-2113, extension 3950 to schedule an appointment.
The caring and experienced professionals at Hamilton Funeral Homes are here to support you through this difficult time. We offer a range of personalized services to suit your family's wishes and requirements. You can count on us to help you plan a personal, lasting tribute to your loved one, and we'll carefully guide you through the many decisions that must be made during this challenging time. You're welcome to call us at any time of the day, any day of the week. Visit our funeral home in person or on the web at hamiltonfuneralhome.com. Call 217-593-6517.
I'm not sure if there's a better checking account around.
We will pay the highest checking account interest rate that we have right now.
It is a very generous 4.07 APY.
As far as ID Secure goes,
It gives you protection with credit monitoring.
So the peace of mind of that's very nice.
Griggsville Perry advances in the 1A Regional at Payson. They'll go to the semifinals on Wednesday night as they defeat the Western Wildcats 51-29. Damon's got a final look at your stats.
Griggsville Perry led this one pretty much from start to finish. Western did have a 1-point lead early in the ballgame. Griggsville Perry, after one, led 10-4, 26-14 lead at the half. They extended that lead to 40-22 after three quarters before winning the ballgame by a score of 51-29. Scoring for Western, Damian Orr knocked a free throw down late in the ballgame for his single point. Max Keller with 2, Blaine Miller with 4, 6 for Kason Tobias, and the leading scorer in the contest for Western was Mason Smith with 16 points before he fouled out of the ballgame. For Griggsville Perry, their scoring went like this: 2 points for Dane McAllister, 4 for Flint Kirk, 7 for Lane Lipkman. Michael Myers with 16 points, including 12 in the second half. And the leading scorer in the ballgame for the Tornadoes, Wyatt Lipkman, with 22 points.
You're watching the Illini Community Hospital postgame show. Illini Community Hospital has been serving the community since 1942 with excellent healthcare services from primary and specialty care to emergency medicine and more. Illini is here to serve you and your family. Learn more about their services at IlliniHospital.org. We're going to come back with our Derek Harris, Edward Jones Financial Advisor Player of the Game, and wrap up this one. Tornadoes win 51-29. We'll be back in 1 minute on Central Illinois Sports.
If your job situation is changing because of layoffs or restructuring, you may have to make several decisions. One important decision may be what to do with your retirement plan. Make sure your retirement stays on track. Derek Harris, your Edward Jones Financial Advisor, can help. Stop by the office at 1891 Main Street in Quincy, Illinois. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Every day, banks touch every corner of our lives. They support us as we turn life's goals into accomplishments. Goals like opening a small business, buying a home, planting a crop, having a new baby. From your first car to life after retirement, Central State Bank is there for all of your life's milestones. CSB is central to your banking needs. Visit us in Clayton, Kinderhook, Pittsfield, Pleasant Hill, and Quincy, or at csb123.com.
Welcome back here on the Illini Community Hospital postgame show, trying to name our player of the game. From Derek Harris, Edward Jones Financial Advisor. Financial investments are important, but so are the investments of time, patience, and encouragement that our young athletes receive from their coaches, parents, teachers, and mentors. Derek Harris, your Edward Jones financial advisor, understands this, and that's why Derek Harris is a proud sponsor of the Player of the Game on Central Illinois Sports. Well, Damon, you talk about the leadership that we've seen evolve over the season for Wyatt Lipkman and the Tornado squad. You saw it today, 22 points, a lot of nice ball handling duties through what was a kind of a physical Western defense here today, and that's my pick for the Player of the Game. I don't know if you get anybody different, but that's who I'm going to go with.
Yeah, I think Wyatt Lipkman's done a nice job. We've saw it here the last few weeks, have averaging 20-plus points a ball game. What I liked out of what Wyatt Lipkman, what Lane Lipkman do, Brian, you and I, as fans sometimes we can be, our expectations can be high or we can be critical, but these guys carry so much of what Griggsville Perry is looking to do on their shoulders because they're the ones that bring the ball across the time stripe. They're the ones that have to pick up the bucket when they need it, but they're also the two that are out front on the press looking to get the majority of the steals. So what Wyatt's been able to do, we saw Lane battled some foul problems today, but what he's been able to do just speaks volumes to how much he has grown as a player. Not the biggest kid out on the floor, but the last few weeks we've seen him really look to expand his range. He's got a good shot. He's knocked down some outside shots. It's opened up the driving lanes. Same thing like we talked about with Michael Myers earlier. Griggsville Perry has started to click here lately, but it's going to be important for them to continue to do so as we go here deeper into postseason.
I think the two big things the Tornadoes need to think about Wednesday night are this. One is you've got to have a balanced scoring attack. If Wyatt Lipkman goes out and scores 35 points in the ballgame, I don't know if GP wins because I don't know if there's just enough points from the rest of that squad to make up for that. Number two, they've got to rebound well. This is a team that we've watched against teams like West Central, against Camp Point Central, and even in a kind of a fluke loss against Menden Unity, get out-rebounded very badly, especially giving up offensive rebounds. You talked it even about a little bit here in the first half. That's a key for this team. They've got a lot of height. They've got a lot of guys inside. Sometimes they don't like to play inside that much. They'd rather be a perimeter-based ball club, but you've got to get those rebounds, and you've got to find ways for other guys to get some scoring opportunities. If they do that, I like their chances Wednesday night, no matter who they play.
Yeah, and absolutely. One thing that could really be the difference maker for this Griggsville Perry squad is we saw tonight, Flint Kirk, 4 points. Flint Kirk knocked down 2 free throws there late in the ballgame. His shot is there. Flint has the ability to maybe score 4 to 6, or Eli White. If you get a few small contributions from those guys, we know everybody else on the floor has the ability to score. But I think the X factor for Griggsville Perry could be Dane McAllister. We've seen some games where Dane this season has come out and just been lights out. He's played with a lot of confidence. We saw tonight the 2 points that he had, put the ball on the floor, attack the basket tough. If Dane can come out, stay out of foul trouble, and just play within the flow of the game. Same thing with Michael Myers. Play within the flow of the game. That is the big key. Griggsville Perry's got the talent. They've played on big stages before. Now, there's a difference between playing on big stages in junior high and high school, but there shouldn't be any moment that's too big for these guys. But they have to come out and keep that one game at a time mentality that every team that's successful in the postseason has.
New Berlin takes on Pleasant Hill in other quarterfinal action here that will lead into the Payson-Seymour Regional. Of course, New Berlin, one of the top-ranked teams in the entire state of Illinois for a majority of the season. Payson-Seymour takes on Liberty here in just a little bit. That's another quarterfinal. So you'd potentially be looking at a Payson versus New Berlin semifinal and a Griggsville Perry versus Triopia semifinal. All four very capable teams, and we've always talked about it. You don't want to pay this Payson-Seymour team at home. This is a team that loves to shoot the three ball. We've seen them upset and play very well against some teams this season. They have been going through a heck of a second half stretch as they're turning the lights off against us here at the Nick. But guess that means it's time for us to wrap up, folks. But
well, we saw Payson in the first round or second round of the tournament at Winchester. May have been the first round, but Payson played that route squad to within 3 points. And you never know when you go into the, for lack of a better term, the dungeon of Payson, because you're playing on a lower level floor. You've got a home court advantage for that Indian squad, and they're going to come out ready to play, because anytime you are able to host your own regional and you get a chance to come out and knock off one of the top-ranked teams in the state of Illinois in 1A, if that doesn't get you fired up to come out to play, there's not much that will.
Tornadoes win 51-29. We're going to see you here from Payson and Camp Point Central coming up here next week. And we'll follow you all the way through the Bushnell and Calhoun regionals. And hey, we'll even be streaming that super sectional on the NFHS side. Brian Shoemaker, Damon Emmerich, and my buddy G Money, Gavin Hilgenbrink, we thank you for watching tonight's boys basketball game. Get yourselves out to some regional semifinals on Wednesday. We'll see you next time here on Central Illinois Sports.